Here. Welcome everyone to the Housing Counseling Network Open Enrollment Informational Webinar. Really appreciate you all joining us today. So as we get started, if you want to please introduce yourself in the chat. Questions for our speakers can be submitted via the Q&A module, and we'll get started now with the webinar. Welcome. So first off, a couple of quick housekeeping points. The NCRC Code of Conduct applies to this as well as all gatherings. Secondly, this webinar is being recorded and the session will be shared on our homepage following the session. Third, if you do have any questions, please submit them via the Q&A module at the bottom of your screen. We'll answer them at the end of the session, and also we'll be sharing our contact information at the end in case there is anything that comes up after the session that you want to follow up with us on. And lastly, there at the bottom right, you'll see some essential links. The first is the NCRC main homepage, and the second is the website dedicated to Housing Counseling Network, or HCN, within NCRC. So that's where our application link is currently posted and where the recording will be posted as well. Next, for those of you who aren't familiar, we are the National Community Reinvestment Coalition, or NCRC. We are a national network organization of over 700 nonprofits, and we focus on a wide variety of issues within our NCRC team, from housing counseling to research to policy, and all of these different areas are within the same umbrella and with the same focus of building wealth in underserved communities across our nation. So you'll see we have a number of programs and services, and we'll be talking about one of those such network opportunities within NCRC's larger network, which is for housing counseling agencies specifically. So we have our agenda for today. Some quick things will be our introductions for our team, then an introduction to the Housing Counseling Network specifically. We'll be talking about the services offered and impacts. We'll be talking about open enrollment details, our role as a HUD intermediary and how that relationship works for our network members, the benefits of joining HCN, expectations of HCN members, and then the application process before we have time for Q&A. Next, I'd like to introduce a little bit of the community impact team within NCRC. My name is Laura Bentley, and I'm the Director of Grant Administration. I'm joined on this call by one of our program managers, Luis Ortiz. He is the lead for everything related to the Housing Counseling Network, and we're the main point of contact for those who are in the network, those who are applying, and anything that's related to our housing counseling team. But just so you're aware as well, the third member of our team is Dia Henderson. She's also a program manager within Community Impact Team, but she focuses on elements that are outside of the Housing Counseling Network, like our Field Empowerment Fund and our fellowship program. So with that, I will pass it off to Luis to continue with the rest of our presentation.
Thanks, Laura. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Let's jump into the presentation. And first slide here is the introduction to the Housing Counseling Network, also referred to as HCN. NCRC launched this network in 2008 during the midst of the foreclosure crisis that we went through as a country. It was meant to strengthen the capacity of local housing counseling agencies and to create a unified structure for delivering high quality, HUD compliant housing counseling across the country. Currently, our network includes 25 HUD approved housing counseling agencies throughout the U.S. As you'll see on the map here, our members are geographically diverse, with a heavier concentration on the eastern third of the country. And as a HUD intermediary, NCRC supports its network of housing counseling agencies through technical assistance, operational oversight, administrative support, and pass-through funding when available. These are all designed to help agencies deliver effective and compliant housing counseling services. Our goal is to ensure that the network members have the tools and resources they need to serve their clients, especially in underserved and underrepresented communities. Moving on. Let's talk a little bit about the, I'm sorry, hold on. The services offered by HCN. This is a quick mention of the core services provided under the Housing Counseling Network. Many of you are already familiar with these offerings. Many of you already work within these uh, the already provide these types of services to your communities. But it's important to mention the work that we do and the services that we provide very briefly. We cover pre-purchase and post-purchase counseling, which is helping clients prepare for and sustain home ownership, educating clients on their fair housing rights. We have money and debt management, which includes budgeting and financial goal setting, credit counseling to help clients improve and rebuild their credit profile, rental counseling to assist renters with stability, affordability, and tenant rights, mortgage delinquencies and default resolution, where we guide homeowners through options to avoid foreclosure. Obviously, loss mitigation, which may involve loan modification or forbearance planning. And we also do homeless assistance. Moving on to the outcomes and impacts. This slide highlights the tangible outcomes from our collective work as a network in fiscal year 2024. We served a total of 14,279 households, each with their unique story. We had 5,267 clients develop a budget through housing counseling services, through our housing counseling services, to help them take control of their finances and build a path towards stability. Over 2,200 clients improved their financial capacity, whether through credit improvement, debt reduction, or maybe increased savings. Close to 3,100 households gained access to vital housing resources, whether that be for down payment assistance programs offered, rental support, or legal aid. Close to 300 families avoided eviction, which is a powerful indicator of how our intervention can preserve housing stability. 468 clients purchased a home, showing the long-term outcomes of effective pre-purchase counseling. We're very proud of that. We believe in wealth through home ownership, and the fact that this number keeps increasing every year, something that we want to highlight and are very proud of. Also, 447 resolved a mortgage delinquency and avoided foreclosure, which goes to, once again, wealth through home ownership, helping people stay in their homes. So these numbers aren't just metrics, they're real measurable impacts of housing counseling and how it works. And it's a testimony and a highlight to all the works that you do on a day-to-day basis. Okay, let's talk about the open enrollment for joining the Housing Council Network. We normally do this once a year. The open enrollment window is now open and open on May 15th, and it runs through June 13th of 2025. We encourage everyone to start early to ensure complete and timely submissions of their applications. Eligibility is limited to HUD-approved housing counseling agencies in good standing. If you are not a HUD-approved housing counseling agency, you can't be part of the network as of now. But if you're interested in becoming a HUD-approved housing counseling agency, please feel free to reach out to us. We can be happy to provide resources on how to go about getting started with that. I think one of our priorities this year is increasing participation from rural and underserved communities. Our goal is to strengthen and support communities that often face the greatest housing challenges but have the least access to housing counseling resources. Kind of going back to that map there, heavy concentration on the east coast of the U.S. There's pockets of the map that don't have as many housing counseling agencies in our network. So would like to change that some, but this doesn't omit anyone else from applying, even if they're in areas where we currently have a presence. Okay, let's move on to NCRC as a HUD intermediate. I think this is a very important slide. Joining the Housing Council Network means that NCRC becomes your official HUD intermediary. This is an important designation, and it comes with several responsibilities on our part. Just first, we apply for funding as a network instead of applying as independent housing counseling agencies. And then we distribute grant funds to the network as subgrantees. Uh, while funding is an important component, obviously, the intermediary relationship goes beyond just the pass-through funding. We are also responsible for ensuring compliance with HUD requirements. This includes conducting performance reviews, whether they be remotely or in person. This is done to verify that agencies are delivering services in accordance with HUD standards. And this isn't, not to be looked at as, another audit or performance review that we have to go through, because as a HUD approved housing counseling agency, HUD is going to go out there and review your programs at least once every 3 years. So what we do is we try to get ahead of that. And provide some performance review so that you know where you stand. We make suggestions on how your programs can improve. So we work with you to make sure that when HUD does go out there to recertify you as a HUD approved housing counseling agency, that you're ready for that HUD audit. We also provide technical assistance, training, and oversight. We support agencies as they can provide so that they can provide high quality HUD compliant services to their communities. Technical assistance can be something as simple as jumping on a Zoom and sharing screens and working through some issues that you might be having, whether that be in HCA or with your HUD approved client management system, whatever issues that you're having. Would be happy to jump on a call or jump in a Zoom meeting and help you work through those issues. We also have the National Training Academy, which is part of NCRC. They offer a number of free courses ranging from housing counseling training to something like coping with your mental health. So definitely take advantage of those resources. Lastly, we serve as a bridge between HUD and your local housing counseling agencies, helping to ensure clear communication, policy updates, and just resource sharing. Oh, one other thing, it's also important to note that HUD-approved agencies can only be affiliated with one HUD intermediary at a time. So to become part of HCN also means that NCRC will become your HUD intermediary. So if you are already under a different HUD intermediary and happy with them, that's fine. You can still become a member of NCRC, just not the Housing Council Network, because that has a requirement that we also become your HUD intermediary. So if you're interested in becoming an NCRC member only, please send us an email and we can connect you with our membership team, who will give you more information about the benefits of becoming an NCRC member. Let's go to the benefits of joining HCN. So joining NCRC's Housing Council Network provides a range of benefits designed to reduce administrative burdens and expand your agency's capacity to serve your community. We actively search for funding opportunities and apply as a network. This strengthens our collective impact and elevates the work our members do. Your reporting will be streamlined through our grant management portal, which is ncrc.submit.com, with a goal of simplifying reporting so you can focus on assisting your community. You'll also have a single point of contact. You won't have to manage separate relationships with multiple funders. As your HUD intermediary, NCRC becomes your central point of contact. We offer you guidance, compliance support, and advocacy on your behalf. You'll also have you also gain access to HUD housing counseling grants and additional private funding opportunities. NCRC has over the years built relationships with federal and private entities that provide funding opportunities that our HCN members can tap into. And also connecting to a professional network. Being part of HCN means joining a community of peers across the country. We facilitate shared learning opportunities, best practices exchange, and ongoing training opportunities to help you strengthen your service delivery and stay informed. Let's talk about expectations of HCN members. So as a member of HCN, there's a few key expectations to help ensure that we remain strong and strong, effective, and compliant. Um, Starting with submit timely 9902 reports to HUD. This is critical for HUD compliance and helps document the valuable work that you're doing on the ground. These reports are due same dates every year over and over. We do send reminders and we check in with you to make sure you're doing them correctly, or to check in to see if you're having any issues or need any assistance. But these are reports that are due to HUD through your client management system every quarter. So we need to make sure that we stay on top of those uh, 9902 reports. Obviously, you have to maintain your an active HUD status. Uh, Agencies must ensure that they keep their HUD approval up to date and continue meeting all program requirements. This is when HUD goes out to do their performance reviews to certify your HUD approval for another 3 years. And we'll also go out or do remote reviews just to make sure that everything is on the up and up, to see if you have any questions or if there's any areas that we can jump in and assist with. Submit timely reports to NCRC if you become a sub-grantee or one of our awards. For those receiving fundings through NCRC, you'll also need to report to us through our grant management system, so we can consolidate these reports and submit these reports to funders. You'd also be required to participate in huddle ups and the Just Economy conference. This is a great opportunity to stay informed, build relationships and best practices within the network. We are trying to make sure we have a huddle up at least twice a year, just to gather over a virtual meeting and just discuss any topics that would be of interest to the Housing Council Network. In general, we want maybe the network members to speak and give their best practices or something that they've had success with in the past, so that the other members can kind of take advantage of that as well. And the Just Economy Conference, very important, once a year. I think we just usually around April or May, where we gather as an organization with all of our members and have a lot of meetings and informational sessions, and it's a really fun time, very informative. So we want to make sure that our network is able to participate in these opportunities as well. And finally, just to amplify, we help amplify the impact of housing counseling nationally. By staying engaged and working together, we elevate the field and strengthen our collective voice in advocating for housing counseling services, which we know are so beneficial to the community. But if we don't advocate, if we don't amplify the voice as a network, some of this work goes unnoticed to uh, folks that we need to know that we are doing this type of work. Okay. Let's see, I lost my slide here. All right, so the next slide, I think, is just the estimated timeline. As I said, applications are already open, and that application is gonna be available through June 13th. Um, in August through October, we're going to be reviewing these applications, selecting finalists and setting up interviews with these finalists. And then we're going to be selecting and notifying the agencies that are going to be admitted into the Housing Council Network, with active HCN participation commencing in November of 2025. Okay. Let's go to the open enrollment application. So the link to the application can be found on the NCRC Housing Council Network landing page. The link is there. If you do also a Google search, NCRC Housing Council Network, you'll get to that landing page. NCRC submit.com is a grant portal that you will use to apply for this and all of the NCRC grant opportunities. Laura, are you going to um, go into the registration for ncrc.submit.com?
Yeah, so I will do that
Okay.
just now.
For some reason, I can't see your screen. That's why I'm,
No worries.
yeah.
Okay, so I will pull up here. Y'all bear with me for one moment. the first, the login screen for the application, and then I'll
Correct.
go
So you'll,
here and
yeah.
check
So you'll
the,
need to register in the system to get access to the application. Oh, actually, yeah. So this is once you click on the link for the application, you're going to see this is ncrc.submit.com, which is our grant application portal. This is what you'll see every time that you log into the system to either apply for a grant for this grant or other funding opportunities. All go through ncrc.submit.com. Once you're ready to apply, you'll hit up. You'll click on apply, and it's going to take you to a registration link. It's a very quick link. It just requires your name and your email address. This is important because you'll be able to, and it asks for a password because the system allows you to complete applications in multiple sittings. Doesn't have to be all done at the same time. So you're going to be able to log out, log back in, and continue an application where you left off. Um, Let's see. So another thing, only as of now, there's a system update in place, but as of now, there's only one person from the organization that can access the application using their login credentials. A lot of times we recommend that when you're applying for these opportunities that you use a shared inbox that can be accessed by, the pro HCM program, sorry, the program manager or the director of the organization, for example. So yeah, so now we're going to take a few moments to review the application, just kind of go down the list of
of the questions here. Yeah, so I'll share my screen again. As Luis mentioned, it's a portal, so you'll see it on virtually. We've just taken the PDF version of the questions just so it'd be easier for the purpose of this presentation. So I'll share that now.
okay, perfect. So I don't see it, but are we seeing it on the screen now, Laura?
Yes, you should be seeing it on the screen.
Okay, cool. So there it is. Okay. So this is fairly straightforward. I just wanted to go through the questions to see if something comes up that you guys might have questions on. We'll be taking some questions at the end of the application, at the end of the presentation. But very simply, just starting with registration details, your first, last name, and email address. This is what you'll use to log into the system. Um, we're going to go down to the application contact information, which is your organization's information, your legal name, point of contact for this application, email address, and name of the person that we're going to be communicating with on this. We're going down to organizational information, your address, your website. It asks you if you're currently an NCRC member, which membership in the Housing Council Network requires membership as an NCRC member. You're not required to sign up for membership to apply for the network, but if you do get selected to become part of the network, you will be required to become an NCRC member. Moving down the next question, is the organization a HUD-approved housing counseling agency? Obviously, that's one of the requirements. And like I mentioned earlier, if you need assistance in becoming a housing counseling agency, we have some resources that we would love to share with you. So just reach out to impact@ncrc.org and we'll get that information out to you. It asks you how long you've been offering housing counseling services. How many years have you been HUD approved? And also, question 11 is important. It's asking you why you're looking to become a member of NCRC's Housing Counseling Network and what you hope to get out of the relationship with HCN. Obviously, funding is from what I've seen is always the something that's always desired and mentioned, but we also want to know other what other needs or what other focuses you have that drew your attention to this opportunity so that we can know what we would like to help you with in the future. Also, we want to know the name of the person in charge of your housing counseling program and how many years they've held that position, and we'll be using that information just to determine uh, hold on. I'm sorry, I lost count here. Okay. How many years? Okay. So let's just move on. That's just agency activity information. All right, so there's a template in the application that you're going to download, and I think Laura's going to share that as well. All right,
Yep,
so this
sharing
is
that now.
yeah, there it is.
Mhm.
Okay, so we want to know the actual housing counseling expenses for your organization from October 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2024. These are actual expenses, not expenses that have been budgeted. These are expenses that were incurred by your housing counseling agency. So you can download this document within the application, save it, complete, and then upload it back into the application.
And just to mention, Luis, as well, just for clarity on this, everyone, this is the total expenses for your housing counseling agency. So I know some of you might have particular funders, sources, but this would be for all sources, all expenditures, anything that was taken to run your housing counseling program. And if your organization does housing counseling as well as like small business services, this would not include the small business services. So all inclusive of your housing counseling program. Awesome. Just wanted to add that, and I will go back to sharing the rest of the application questions. There we go.
Okay. And then moving forward, question 15 and a lot of the questions following so question 15 asks you just to enter the expenses for your housing counseling program. We actually ask you to upload a document and then to enter specific information from that document just for calculation purposes and helping us kind of evaluate each application. Okay. Question 16 asks you to upload your HUD approved work plan. Uh, Question 17 asks you to upload your 9902 for FY24. Please upload the copy. Actually, please download a copy of your 9902 from what you have already submitted to HUD. So go into HCS and download a copy of your 9902. We don't want to see, different formats because a lot of times you can, uh, uh, do projections for 9902. We want to see what was actually reported to HUD. And make sure that this is for quarter 4 and cumulative, spanning the 4 quarters from October 2023 through September of 2024. Make sure it's cumulative just so that you get credit for all the work that you did throughout the year. A lot of the following questions is then after that just ask you to upload or to enter certain numbers directly from your 9902, demographic information, AMI information, things of that nature. You just be entering a number directly from the 9902 that you've uploaded. Question 35 asks how many full-time equivalent HUD certified housing counselors you have on staff. Uh, uh, Question 36 asks if you're a HUD certified, if you do HUD certified HECM counseling, and if you have a counselor on staff. It also asks you to upload a completed roster template of active HUD certified housing counselors with their respective HUD ID numbers. Uh, and then upload their HUD certificates as well. For all the counselors that you're going to be listing as a HUD approved housing counselor in question 37. I believe that's the last question.
Yeah, so I'll unshare this now and go back to the presentation. Again, this application is live, so you all will see those questions. You already have access to them, but just to go over those different elements. And I will go back to share the presentation.
Okay. I think the last slide is just stay connected. Again, that's a picture of Laura D and myself at the Just Economy Conference this past April. It shows the way to stay connected with us. If you have any questions regarding this application or anything housing counseling related in general, you use impact@ncrc.org. You can also schedule some time to meet with me. via the Calendly link that you see there. I block off 30 minutes to speak to you directly to you with whatever questions that you may have. So looking forward to hearing from you, hopefully scheduling some time to speak with you. But if it's just a quick question, please feel free to send us a quick email as well. And we'll go, we have some time for some Q&A. Laura, I don't know if there's
Yeah.
in the chat.
Yeah, so I think there's a couple in the chat, some in the Q&A, so I can go through and pull some of those now. If you do have a question that's very specific to your exact agency, please email us at the email on the screen, impact@ncrc.org, so we can go over your particular situation, but I'm going to call out a couple that could be beneficial to the group as well. Let's see. One question we have here is, can we apply if we have a counselor who passed the HUD exam, but our agency is not yet HUD approved? Unfortunately, as Luis mentioned, at this time for this open enrollment, your agency needs to be already HUD approved in order to be eligible. So if you're waiting for your approval, if you've come out of like a compliance status, but are in the process of coming back into a compliance status with HUD. In all of those situations, unfortunately, you would not be eligible to apply for this round of open enrollment. As Luis mentioned, we do periodically do this open enrollment process, so it's not a never, but at this time, you would not be eligible unless your organization is currently actively HUD approved. Let's see here.
See one question, Laura, if selected, is this something that you have to apply for each year? And no, once you're selected, you become part of the network. It's not an annual application that you have to go through. Assuming that you stay compliant, do your reporting on time, and there are no other issues with the relationship, you will continue to be part of the network.
Exactly. I also see a question of what type of funding opportunities are available. So we do get different sources of funding that NCRC will apply for. So both private sources as well as public through HUD, for example, through our comprehensive housing counseling or through the HUD comprehensive housing counseling program, as well as if there are other opportunities that HUD opens, NCRC will apply to those. So it is not just HUD, it is also private sources, bank funding, we sometimes receive as well to distribute to our housing counseling agencies. And so those folks in network will be eligible for those sources. And then, of course, you may see that sometimes NCRC has additional funding that it can offer to members outside of the network, but those are more limited than the opportunities that are within the network as well. But it's both public and private funding opportunities. And those may vary from year to year, but our development department pursues that funding so that we can offer it to our housing counseling networks. In terms of the membership fee, I think we have someone from the membership department helping us with tech. So Haley, if you might be able to link people to the NCRC membership page, that would be wonderful. Otherwise, the membership fee for NCRC in general varies a little bit on type of institution, and I believe on size. So in that sense, we can share that information for NCRC's membership. However, for the Housing Counseling Network, there is no additional membership fee. So we require that you be part of NCRC's membership base, but there's no additional fee or dues or anything required like that. And we currently have 25 housing counseling agencies. There was a question here as well. I think two questions that kind of go together, but the first question is, how are the federal cuts impacting HUD and grant funding? And obviously this is a larger question than just NCRC as an intermediary. But as you all are probably aware, right, there are a lot of changes going on in the space right now. And so it's hard to predict, right, what might happen with HUD funding. But what is most important is that NCRC continues to have a robust network. We have done the housing counseling network for since 2008. So it's a robust network. We have a very strong relationship with HUD and our HUD point of contact. And so in that sense, we're strongly positioned to continue to apply for and receive funding from HUD, and the HUD funding itself. That's something that no one but HUD perhaps can speak to, but we continue to be plugged in to the intermediary coalition that speaks directly with David Berenbaum, and be aware of those opportunities and apply for them. So we know we're in a changing space. We know that that's the case, but we're also well established as an intermediary and have that close relationship with HUD that we continue to monitor what their funding opportunities might be and how we can best go after them. And in addition, looking for other sources of funding as well, through private sources, to do what we can to support our network. And so to that point, I think there was a question in the chat of what's the funding amount opportunity per agency. It varies in terms of each year, kind of what the HUD allocation is, what other sources we have available. In terms of how those determinations or the allocations are spread amongst our agency members, we do look at different factors such as agency production and size, location, and also some opportunities are targeted towards certain areas. And so we make sure to highlight those members and provide that opportunity for them. But it does vary across kind of year to year or across a specific program. But we look to provide it equitably across our organizations. And there's a question as well. I think this is the last one, unless I'm missing any. I'll take another look. But there's a question of if an agency works with NCRC in our network, can they still independently apply for grant funding? The answer is yes. There might be private funders that you apply to, there may be local funders. You're perfectly able to pursue your other funding sources as you normally would. If you have any concern about a specific funding source, please feel free to email us either now or while you're in the intermediary. If you're formed part of our network, we can always assist in double checking any issues that you may have. But in general, this is your relationship with NCRC and with HUD as your intermediary. But otherwise, we know agencies pursue a lot of different sources of funding, and this wouldn't conflict with that. So I think those were most of the general questions that I saw, Luis. Again, if your organization has a very specific situation, please feel free to email us. We're going to call with Luis. We'll be happy to workshop with that with you. And we're just, hopeful in this process and excited to meet you all, get to know you all, see if we're the right fit for you, if you're the right fit for us. But we really appreciate you all taking the time to jump on this session. I believe, there we go. Just in the chat just now, thank you, Haley. We added a little survey there about this webinar. If you all want to take a couple seconds to fill that out. Was this helpful? Hopefully, yes. Hopefully that clarifies kind of what you can expect from the open enrollment application and from the network. And again, if there's any other questions, please feel free to contact us and we will get those squared away for you. With that, Luis, I think we're good to go.
I don't see any other questions. So if you want to just reach back out to us, the email address is impact@ncrc.org. If you need the Calendly link, I can email me. I'll send you the link so you can select the time to speak with me. But besides that, thank you for joining, and I look forward to meeting with you in the coming weeks to go over this information.